This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.
Welcome back. As the new school year approaches, work on the busy Village Road improvement project is progressing as the project is set to remove existing pavement, install new pavement, electrical ducts, water mains and services, and implement new traffic signals, among other road plans. The project is designed to rehabilitate the road, improve the level of service, and execute upgrades to various buried utilities on the 0.9-mile roadway on Village Road between St. Andrews Drive and Montague Beach. Other proposed changes include widening to 3 lanes, a median lane near to Queens College School, which will provide relief to drivers and create additional turning movement, the addition of a turning lane at St. Andrews Drive, and the removal of a silk cotton tree at Parkgate Road and Village Road for the provision of a turning lane there. According to the Ministry of Works and Utilities, the project is said to be completed by September of 2022. The Bahamas maintaining its Tier 1 ranking when it comes to trafficking in persons into the country. The 2022 U.S. State Department reports on trafficking in persons, or TIP, noting that the Bahamas government fully met the minimum standards for the elimination of trafficking as it continued to demonstrate serious and sustained efforts during the reporting period, considering the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on its anti-trafficking capacity. Therefore, the Bahamas remained on Tier number 1. Thus, sustained efforts include convicting a trafficker, providing support for repatriated victims, making efforts to provide compensation to a victim, increasing funding for victim services, and coordinating with governments in the region to share challenges and best practices on prosecuting traffickers and improving interagency collaboration. However, the report also noting that although the government meets the minimum standards, it did not initiate any new prosecutions, identified few victims, and did not comprehensively implement its victim identification protocol, especially among at-risk groups, including Haitian migrants. The TIP report giving priorities recommendations including an increase in efforts to investigate, prosecute, and convict traffickers, including officials complicit in sex or labor trafficking, and impose sufficient sentences, reduce delays in court proceedings, and train labor inspectors on trafficking, victim identification, and referral to services, among other recommendations. This is the 8th consecutive year the Bahamas has maintained its Tier 1 status. The government is rolling out its plans to include more people with disabilities in its future recruitment and staffing. Minister of State for the Public Service, Pierre Glover-Roll, on Tuesday reiterated that the Davis administration's blueprint recognizes the importance of diversity of inclusion.
Today we're here to speak to the fact that the public service will begin a push for the recruitment and hiring of more persons with disabilities. Moving forward in our exercises of recruitment in the public service, specifically through our Public Service Professional Engagement Program. For a long time, persons with disabilities have lamented the fact that their community is often ignored in the entire discourse nationally. From a human resources perspective, this Davis administration is very sensitive to the process of ensuring that we are inclusive and that we incorporate a wide variety of diverse mindsets and experiences in our hiring and recruitment efforts across the public service.
This initiative is part of a wider revamping of the Public Service Drive and Ministry's agenda for public service reform. The State Minister explained how the advantages of this program will allow people who are of special needs in the workplace, providing them the necessary tools for sustainable living and designated career paths.
One of the key initiatives that will be used to spearhead the hiring of persons with disabilities is our recently announced Public Service Professional Engagement Program. This will provide on-the-job training opportunities that will eventually lead to entry-level placement and designated career paths for those who successfully matriculate through the program. Through the PSPEP program, these persons will be provided with the training, support, and any special considerations they may need to successfully enter, be productive, and succeed within the public service. They will be positioned for the same career paths and merit-based progression opportunities that all public servants will have access to.
Minister Glover Rule notes the Ministry of Public Service will also begin collecting more statistics and vital information related to the disabled community, which will be used in its ongoing plans. The media got a chance to hear from two people in the disabled community who shared their appreciation for the ministry's efforts.
I'm excited for the program to be launched, just for the mere fact of inclusion and making the disabled, or the differently able, as we now say it, feel more, I guess, at home and natural in their own home, in their own environment, in their own society, having the empowerment that they could be independent and be seen as equal.
I'm glad that this has opened up a door for us to just, branch out and be so much more than what we are. Because, okay, I can't see, but I can sell across to an atheist, I'm good with talking, that's my thing. I'm good with motivational speaking. Prior to this, I was a customer service representative. I'm really good at, what I do. So I'm glad that this new Davis operation has opened up this door for us to be more than what we are.
The state minister says prior to the Progressive Liberal Party coming to power, there was a backlog with thousands of disabled people applying for jobs in the public service. She says those applicants in their database will be used to begin the initiative. And finally, a Climate Change and Health Leaders Fellowship was held Friday at the Ministry of Health and Wellness. In attendance were Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Michael Darville, Colin Higgs, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health and Wellness, and Dr. Pearl McMillan, Chief Medical Officer. The reception was aimed at discussing incoming climate programs and partnerships, along with the integration of youth into the issue of climate change, with the announcement of the winner of the Youth Climate Change video competition also taking place.
It is often said that the children are our future. It is therefore important that we engage our youth in the climate change fight that has been deemed a public health emergency of the 21st century. Last week, the Bahamas hosted the regional conference on youth on climate change, highlighting the high priority that the country is placing on youth engagement in climate matters.
Professor Christopher Ora, Fellowship Project Lead for Strengthening Health Systems in the Caribbean, says the Climate Change Health Leaders Fellowship is part of a European Union-funded and PAHO-coordinated project spanning the entire Caribbean. The fellowship is partnering with several climate change organizations in the region, speaking on the many activities planned up to 2025.
And one of the key activities is to develop a cohort or network of of climate change and health practitioners and leaders, and giving them the knowledge and skills to be agents of change. And it's important that we also promote an interdisciplinary and One Health approach as we do this. And as we heard earlier, we have real issues that we need to face. We're facing with climate change and health across our region. And you know this more than anybody up in the Bahamas, with the issues that you've faced and you're facing. And we need those local leaders to affect change. And so through this fellowship, we're empowering professionals to make change.
Speaking to the benefits of the fellowship, Minister Darville expanded on the effects climate change has had on the Bahamas, namely the disaster of Hurricane Dorian.
Let me be abundantly clear that the Commonwealth of the Bahamas recognized reality of climate change and its disproportionate impact on the health and welfare of small island states. Climate change is recognized as the largest public health emergency of the 21st century. Therefore, the Bahamas is partnering with the Caribbean Community Climate Change Center, the Pan American Health Organization, the World Health Organization, the Green Climate Fund, the European Union, the United Nations, and other regional and international organizations to confront climate crisis. We also strategize solutions to combat climate risk to the Bahamian people and our local environment that is a direct result of some of what we are seeing with sea level rising.
Physician and moderator of the event, Nadia Holder Hamilton, says Bahamians can expect more climate change-focused events in the future that will include Bahamian youth. And that will do it for your JCN Evening News. Once again, I'm Jareno Saunders. Thanks for joining us.
This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.